No, I certainly think so. I mean, what I've found is we have a very competitive group. They really bring a lot of energy and passion to the practice floor. I think they all know they're competing to establish their role within the framework of the team. So it's been a lot of fun to coach and a lot of fun to watch these guys compete so far.
When you talk about the competitiveness, when I was talking to Stark last week, he said that he felt like the last couple practices y'all have had, at least the first few, have been the most competitive and most energetic that y'all have had since he's been here.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see that?
I think so. I think it's starting to trend in the direction that I would like for it to go as far as our day-to-day, how we practice, how we compete, how we work. I think those habits are starting to be established. And I think a lot of that's a credit really to Jonathan and Terrell. I think they've done a great job of setting the tone every day in practice. I thought both came back from fall break refreshed with a lot of energy, really doing a good job communicating to the younger guys on the team and letting them know how it needs to be done.
For our fans, it's always a recruiting season. Are you pleased with the way recruiting's going?
Oh, I'm thrilled with recruiting so far. We still have some work left to do, but I think we're involved with the right guys. Obviously, we're losing two elite level players, so it's an important class for us that we're able to bring in 2 to 3 really talented, skilled players.
I know last year post was kind of a question outside of Terrell still developing Jalen and whatnot, and then of course Breon trying to come off of that ACL and trying to get back to 100%. How strongly do you feel about your post play so far?
Well, I'm excited about the direction we're headed there. I think Jalen has had a good off season, really has built on the momentum that he finished last season with. Has gotten stronger, conditioning's much improved. I think he's continuing to develop his offensive game. He's already a very good defender and a guy who can protect the rim and rebound for us. But I feel like he's going to be a guy that we can get the ball in there in the post and can score effectively at the basket. I think Anthony Smith's really adding a lot to our team, not just as a player, but he's a relentless competitor, really works, brings a lot of energy to practice. Just very, very competitive in everything that he does. He's just all business, and it's really set a good standard, set a good tone with our big guys.
Where does Breon fit in that rotation of bigs? That, obviously,
sure,
he's almost 100% now and is flying around in practice.
Oh yeah, I mean he's 100%. I mean we don't need to talk about the knee. That was almost 2 years ago. I mean that time's come and gone. It's time to play, and he's had a good off season. He's about 6'8.5", 245 pounds right now. He's, as always, really impacting us defensively and with his rebounding and screening. He has to continue to develop at the offensive end of the floor, but he brings a lot to the table, and it's going to be very competitive there in the front court. But I'm excited about the direction we're going there.
What can happen with having Byron Hawkins eligible this year with this team?
Oh, I think a lot of things. I think bottom line, he's a very good basketball player. He's a guy who can make plays off the dribble, but is also an outstanding three-point shooter. I think he makes the people around him better. I think is just as important, if not more, I think is what he brings to our team in the locker room. He's been a part of a 20-win team. His sophomore year there at Towson, he's produced on a big stage. He scored 28 against Ole Miss as a sophomore. But he brings a toughness and leadership to our team that I think every team needs. But it's been very good for our young guys to see what he brings in the locker room.
Did it help him being able to kind of sit out last year and kind of watch things, and even though he was still participating in practice and everything, now he kind of gets to go out there knowing that he's going to be part of the action?
Well, I think it's always helped our sit-out guys. I think those who have come in and really worked extremely hard in that sit-out year, you've seen the benefits they've had when they got back on the floor. Jonathan Stark is a great example. Averaged about 10, 11 a game at Tulane. Percentages weren't very good from the floor. Was unbelievable in his work ethic in his sit-out year, and then you see the season he put together last year. So I think Byron really took advantage of his sit-out year, lived in the gym, took advantage of the extra opportunities in the weight room, and I think you'll see the benefits of that this season.
Why has this team been so successful in the last several years with those transfer sit-out guys? Like you said, Stark, and then before him, you had TJ Sapp that sat out a semester and then played and was very successful as soon as he got in, and it kind of goes on from there.
Well, I think it's just a credit to those guys. They're finding the right fit as far as style of play and system. I think our coaching staff does a great job putting in the hours in the player development program with them in that sit-out year. But I think it's just a credit to those guys and how hard they work and how much time they invest during their year of residency here.
From a defensive standpoint, obviously, you of all people probably had the most questions coming into the season where this defense was going to take the next step. So I'm asking you, where do you think this defense will take the next step? Is it going to be better man-to-man, zone? What are you
no, I don't have any concerns about our defense. And I know the easy thing to do is always to sit here and compare this team to last year or this team to 5 years. Like, I'm not going down that road. This is a fresh start for everybody. We learned a lot last season from some different breakdowns within our team. But this group's worked extremely hard. We'll teach the defense the same way we've taught it. That's been good enough to be a top 10 type defense in the country. And so I think our buy-in will be really good there. I think our guys are learning a lot at the defensive end of the floor. And at the end of the day, a lot of defense is effort, toughness, trust in teammates, and I'm excited about what our guys are doing there right now.
Going back to Byron, you're talking about him being able to shoot the three and score points. If he's able to do that, does that take pressure off of Stark having him out there on the floor?
Oh, I think so. When you have multiple playmakers out there on the floor, it takes some of the pressure off Jonathan to have to make every play, whether it's creating off the dribble or scoring it himself. So what I hope we're able to do is put some other ball handlers out there on the floor. It can help Jonathan. Also free him up. I mean, Jonathan's such a great three-point shooter. Set the school record last year with 108 makes at around 43%. So we want some of these guys to be able to free him up and get him some open looks, where I think there are times in the past where Jonathan's had to take and make some really tough challenge shots. Hope we can get him some easier looks this year.
Do you anticipate any changes as far as scheme or style of play?
No, I don't. I think it'll all depend on how these practices go. I think it comes down for us. We've got to be solid. I think any team in the country will say before you can be good at anything, you better be solid in your man-to-man defense. So we're trying to develop and get better at that end of the floor. Offensively, would still like to play fast and put the ball in our guards' hands and allow them to create and make plays. I think we have a good front court that will be able to play inside out with them as well. And I think with our size, I think we look to be a very good rebounding team. It's a point of emphasis for us each day at both the offensive and defensive end of the floor.
I feel like last year.
You may disagree with this observation.
Sure.
Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. But it seemed like at times last year that Jonathan had such a great year that sometimes when he had the ball, some of the other guys would just stand around. Is that something that y'all worked on to try and get more movement with those other guys?
Well, I think we got to be a more efficient offensive team. But again, at the end of the day, it puts me to sleep having to keep talking about last year because I'm just so excited about our team this year. But as you look back, we averaged 81 points a game. That's plenty enough points to score. Jonathan had the third most assists in the history of this elite program. So I think his playmaking is outstanding. I do agree with you, Will. If we're going to look back, there were times where the offense was stagnant and too dependent on one man to create the opportunities. So I think we have to be better and have better flow to our offense. But I think overall, I trust Jonathan with the ball to create and make those plays, not only for himself, but the best thing about him, he gets a lot of credit for his scoring. And that's great. He's 22 points a game. But he makes the people around him better. He can really create. He's an outstanding passer. And as a guy, I would not be shocked. I'd like to see him contend for that assist record in a season. I think he's more than capable of doing that.
I'd like to parlay off that. And again,
Sure.
I don't mean to harp on last year at all.
No, you're
But
fine.
Last year we have where you're relying only on 6 or 7 guys. I'm no evaluator of talent, but I see more than 6 and 7 guys that can contribute this year. Do you hope that's the case coming into the season?
Oh, I think always. I think most coaches are going to tell you they'd like to be at that 8 to 9 man rotation. especially as you start getting toward league play. And I'm excited about where we're at from a competition standpoint within the roster. It's going to lead to some tough decisions, I think, because all 13 guys can't play. It's just impossible. So that's why these next 4 weeks of practice are so important. By no means does the starting lineup on opening night or the rotation on opening night is that set for the entire season. But these next 4 to 5 weeks will be very important in determining who starts the year and what role they're going to fulfill for us.